Hi, everybody. Elida Zweidler-McKay with Engaging Leadership, where we're all about helping you become an engaging leader and also helping you learn to engage the people on your team so that they can show up and be effective, and then also engage the people around you so that you build the kind of reputation that's going to move you forward. So I want to talk to you today about this research I was just reading. So I've been reading this book, Unleashed, by Frances Frei and Anne Morris. And they mentioned this piece of research that I found really interesting, and it was about diversity. And what they said is that diverse teams do a better job of problem solving than homogenous teams only when the team is able to tap into and make use of the differences that are in the group. So without that explicit acknowledgement of and appreciation for and really leaning into those differences, diverse groups actually make worse decisions than homogeneous ones. And the reason for that is what's called the common information effect. So if you think about it, groups make decisions based on the information they have, and people tend to lean toward similarities and common information. So if a group is relatively homogeneous, the amount of shared information, shared experience among them is going to be relatively bigger than if a group is really diverse. A diverse group is going to have a lot more different kinds of experiences and a lot of different kinds of skills. And so unless a diverse group learns how to make use of those differences, all of that will kind of fall to the wayside, and they'll have this smaller set of information to be working from when they're making decisions, which is why they'll make worse decisions. So with all of the work that's being done around diversity and equity and inclusion, I wanted to bring this into the mix to just remind us that it's not about the number of bodies in an organization. It's really about how they are engaged and how the differences that are in the group are worked with that makes the biggest difference. And of course, one of the most important factors is the psychological safety and sense of safety that's created inside the organization. Is it okay for people to be different, to show up with their differences, to use their differences, or is there kind of an overarching culture or set of norms that kind of keep those differences out? So you've heard me talk about her before. One of my favorite writers on psychological safety is Amy Edmondson. And one of the things that she talks about is how do you create that kind of psychological safety in your organization where people feel like it's okay to be themselves, it's okay to show up with all of themselves, it's okay to bring in their ideas and opinions. And that's what we're really talking about, because unless everybody in the team feels like they can do that, you're going to be missing out on some of those amazing resources that you've hired and brought in. So some of the things that are really important for creating that psychological safety are making it okay for people to be wrong, to make mistakes, certainly to share a different point of view, creating norms where it's okay for people to speak up when they disagree. As a leader, really being able to show up with humility and curiosity and fallibility, those are Amy Edmondson's words, is really important because it shows that you are interested in what those various voices on your team have to say. And it shows that you know that your way of thinking about it, about a particular situation, isn't the only way to think about it, and that there's more out there that you want to uncover because you've got that curiosity and that drive to find out. That is one of the most important things that you can bring to any conversation, is really how do you make room for and invite in and then really listen to all the different points of view. Now, of course, when we talk about diversity, what pops into most people's minds are the demographic diversity, racial, ethnic, gender, sexuality, et cetera. And those are certainly really important aspects of diversity to pay attention to. But the other frame I want to bring you on this is also differences in styles. So I was just leading a workshop for a client for about 120 people where I was introducing the Insight Inventory, which is a personality style assessment that looks at people's style across 4 dimensions: how they share information, how they organize information, the pace at which they like to work, and then how they interact with people in groups. And differences that people have on each of those dimensions are also really valuable resources that any group can tap into and make use of. And when you do, then you get a really great balance. So let's say one of the differences on your team is that some people are really urgent and they like to get things done quickly, and other people are much more steady and they like to take their time. If you're working in a way that takes advantage of and pulls in and makes the most of both of those perspectives, you're going to get this great balance of making sure that you're moving forward and keeping things in motion, but at the same time, also making sure you're checking the boxes and you're considering all the different angles. So if you've got a team that has both of those perspectives on it and you can tap into both of them, you're going to make much better decisions than if you lean toward everything has to be urgent and we got to just make it happen and never mind those folks over there who want us to slow down. Or, look, we really have to think about it some more. And I know people want us to move forward, but that's just not the way to go here. We've really got to think it through. So you can see how any group can easily lean toward a certain style, a certain perspective, a certain way of working. And that can, in the end, lead to some subpar choices and subpar results. So one of the things I work with my clients on is how did they themselves get comfortable with their own style so that they know what their biases are, what their perspectives are, and then how do they generate and cultivate that curiosity and that perspective of really looking for the other side, looking for the other perspectives. Because when you're a leader and you can tap into all of that, all of those resources that are on your team or among your colleagues, you will make much better decisions and be much better prepared for the kinds of challenges that are going to show up in the next step once you've made the decision. So if that's something that's interesting to you, you'd like to learn more about your own style, you'd like to learn more about how you could work better with other people around you who may have different styles, or how to not get stuck in patterns with people who have a really similar style, let's talk. We can get on the phone for about 45 minutes. We'll talk about where you are in your career right now, where you want to go. If I can help you get from here to there using these tools or others that are in my toolkit, I would be delighted to share that with you, and we can talk about what that could look like. Either way, you're going to get a lot of value from the call because we're going to get really clear about where you are, where you want to go, and what's next. You can book that call at zmcoach.net/call. Take care.